If any of you guys do run or something or do other sports, I'm sure you exercise in different ways. It's no fun if you exercise and then you're like exhausted at the end, unless you're doing some kind of fighting and then it makes sense that you would be exhausted because someone tried to kick your butt. But it's really a shame if people have to do exercise to such an extent that their body is like collapsing. And it's really not necessary. Then the other thing is that there are also multiple dimensions to exercise, right? So we do have cardiovascular or cardio, strength, balance, endurance, and what about flexibility? So yoga is a balance of all of these things actually, right? All the yoga students that you'll see in the future, they're people who are, sometimes they do all these other exercises and their body's really tense because they overwork or underwork certain muscle groups, okay? Or they ignore others. Yoga gives us all of these things. So what we want is to challenge, why not challenge every muscle in the body or every joint? And the other thing that's unique about yoga is that a good exercise routine compensates for how we use our body. So we want to balance out the body. Why is it that people love to do vinyasa flow? Because they're used to sitting in a chair all day. And they love that movement. They need that movement. The body, it needs movement in order to filter out itself and to keep the body healthy. So some people need to move. And if you come to a yoga class and the yoga class is a lot of stillness, but you need movement, it's totally natural that people feel anxious or that they feel uneasy. So that's understandable, and we want to do a type of yoga that balances us. It's important to say this in the context of exercise, because there are I mentioned these three different body types. We have air, vata, we have pitta, which is fire, we have kapha, which is earth. This means that they have more of a certain person who's like a kapha type. That means they have more earth energy in them. Pitta types have more fire energy. Vata types have more air energy. And the whole art and science of Ayurveda has to do with how we balance these energies and how we understand our tendency towards disease depending on which of these types and which of these elements we have more of in our life. That's kind of strange, right? And the thing is that these people, they do exactly what's not good for them, and that's why they get into their disease states. So what type of yoga do you think Vata types like to do? They love vinyasa flow. They love dance yoga. That's their thing. They love constantly moving. And Vata types like to do vinyasa flow. They love to dance. They like to move, constantly moving like the air. Pitta types are what? Their mentality is very judgmental. They're very kind of aggressive. They like hot yoga. They like to put themselves through suffering. They like to challenge themselves. They like to look in the mirror and compare themselves to others. Okay, so you see his body shape. He has muscular build. He's kind of average size. And there's lots of stories about this guy yelling at people and just getting really hot-headed and angry. So that's kind of the Pitta mentality. So also Ashtanga, because it is challenging. So they like to be challenged, and they like to keep moving forward and progressing and seeing if they're doing it better than the person next to them. So Vata, Pitta. Then the Kapha types, they like restorative yoga. They like to lay on some props. They like to do Iyengar yoga, where like there's lots of breaks and the teacher's demonstrating and they're talking a lot about where the joints go. Iyengar yoga is also very intellectual. There's a lot of details, and people who are Pitta types, they tend to like that detail-oriented stuff, right? Hatha yoga is the yoga where you hold a pose and you breathe and you meditate, you do breathing exercises. So it's like old school yoga. That's what the Vata types need. So we want to make sure first we got a good digestion going. We have good range of motion in our joints, that our heart is open, that our lungs are working well, and then maybe you can try to do some handstands, on the weekend.